Blink should have already adapted to the tanky boys.
To honor, however, where our conversation was leading, let's get some thoughts on GK Esports coming into this as well, Rinmar. Obviously, you mentioned representing MENA, but in your take, what is the style that they going up against this squad is going to present? Is it going to be weird? Is it going to be a little different? Is it going to be unique to them? How do you feel they're going to approach handling this meta right now?
I think it's going to be chaotic. I mainly based their performance off of what we saw in the grand finals at MPL MENA.
Yeah.
But considering GK and then how Falcons MENA, the energy that they brought, being in that huge live crowd for the very first time, the largest crowd that they've had for a domestic league, they were everywhere, honestly. It was so chaotic, it was hard to read them. Even looking at the Romid trio with Kwanok, with Shen, and even with Zeno, there were some moments where I was wondering, why are they doing this? But they're making it work because Falcons are playing into it. So maybe if there's something that GK can do here to throw Yangon Galacticos off this game, is that make Yangon play a game that's a little bit undisciplined, because that's what GK wants. They want you to get roped into their tempo, their dance floor, and that might work out well for them.
Is it true to think that Yangon Galacticos starts out as maybe a dark horse in this tournament, and maybe teams from Myanmar have done that in the past, but then always end up kind of turning that narrative around and being contenders?
For some reason, it's always kind of weird for these Burmese teams, because every time you expect them to be a threat, every time you expect them to be the dark horse, they underperform like massively. But when you come into a different tournament and you think, all right, Yangon, Burmese teams, they're not going to be too good this tournament, then they make it all the way to the grand finals, a top 4 finish, and they surprise everybody. So I'd say for the Burmese fans, for everybody around the world who want Yangon to do well, let's not expect too much from Yangon Galacticos.
The reverse curse, right?
Yes.
That you don't want to say too much. You agree with that, Rimar?
Yeah, that's why maybe I'm a little bit more with what I'm expecting for
relaxed.
GK Esports. Yeah, 77% for Yangon Galacticos. So it seems like there are a lot of expectations for them.
Have you not learned? Guys, no, predict Yangon's opponents every time, okay?
But maybe this works. Maybe this works because every prediction has basically gone the other way today.
That's true. This could bode really well for GK Esports, man.
The reverse curse could be happening.
reverse psychology.
That's right. You're back at a 360, right where you started. Wait a second.
This is why my degree is different. I'm more in the liberal arts.
Yeah, exactly. Psychology.
You got a degree?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool, man.
So you got a degree in what? Casting and
MLBV,
content and streaming,
yapping,
yapping, style.
I got a master's at yapping.
You got plenty of things, Mirko. People trying to get like you, all right? Rinmar, Mirko, thanks for the prelude to this set. It's going to be an amazing series to close out our day. We have got so much action across our 3. I know 4 is going to be a bright spectacle as well. So without further ado, let's get started.
You know what? Today we have had surprises, upsets, and we also had an 8.6k gold lead in 6 minutes into the game. Today is a crazy day, Milosh.
There's a reason why Onyx are called the Sky Kings, and I think they really did prove it despite the best efforts of Entity 7. There's just teething issues, right? Day 1, you're on the big stage. Fair enough, I'm sure they'll bring it back.
I agree, but you know what? Today is so crazy. And of course, to wrap up our day with the last match of day 2, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Yangon Galacticos! They are looking to establish themselves on the international stages once again. Yangon Galacticos is back and ready to show that the Burmese representatives are not here to play. Top 8 finish in M7. There is nothing wrong with aiming higher.
Not too shabby. Let's bring them out. Their opponents on the other side. It's GK Esports! From returning veteran to rookie, their new roster shows so much promise. Building chemistry stability can only be reliably done on the big stage, I tell you that. Can the pressure shape MENA's long-awaited breakthrough on the MLBB stage?
You know what, Milosh? This will definitely be a match to watch out for everybody out there.
Oh yes, equals in some ways, a lot to prove in others, so please, GK, please, our good friends over at Yangon Galacticos, you may go place your keys, take your seats, and make sure, captains, to shake hands for the all good, gentlemen. Please, let's set this one up. There's a bit of shyness in it here, but there's a technique to the handshake, Rose. We'll be seeing a lot of these as we go. And bam!
So nice about it. They're very gentle about it. I love it.
There's our matchup, our final one of today in the group stage. Let's send it back to our panel and get things rolling.
Thank you so much, Milos and Rose. It's the final series of the day here in day 2 of MLBB MSC at EWC 2026. We're going to get ready to go into that draft, but it is going to be, for me, a really great end of the day, guys, if we keep being surprised, but we have a competitive set. That's what I want to see as a viewer, as a fan. I think the sets that we got today, even though they surprised us in some ways, when they went the distance, that was what gave us, I think, the best look at learning something long term. Because when you get down to those teams, especially now that they meet after 2 winners meet, it's going to be a very contested set. And that's where those metas, I guess, core elements are going to be pushed to their limits. So where you might have to go to, sure, you're banning the Harara well. You're prioritizing how you're dealing with the Ling or using it. Well, what's after that? Like, what's the step after that that now both teams are doing that? You only get to see that in a high-level contested match, and I feel like this could be the chance. And I know at the end of the day, it will be, especially if you guys have the chance right now to go into shop to grab your new interactive effect that's available to celebrate Happy Rhino Day. So make sure to check it out in shop, and you can continue chatting about this series, Ramon.
Yeah. Well, when we were talking about what comes after that, it seems like based off of the most surprising results, there's 2 names popping up more, Uranus and Barretts. And with having EXP laners that can play high invade, not because they're fast, but because you just can't do much to them early on if you don't have the right damage profile. And even if you get your power spike post first turtle, you still don't have the right damage profile to deal with the Barretts, to deal with the Uranus. It just pulls so much gravity towards where they are in the map that whichever team has one of those picks seems like they're more free to do things in the other side of the jungle or in the other side of the river, which means that's more resources, and the other team that's getting pressured by those picks, they're not doing much, which is weird now, because when we look at how Zeno and Aizen, how they play together, we want to see them play explosiveness. You don't really get explosiveness with the Uranus and Barretts. It's more of like a slow creeping realization upon your opponents that they can't do anything against you.
And that's why I think it's all about adapting to exactly that, right? Where you need to be explosive, and right now it does feel like that explosiveness, you need to find it in the jungle. We had a conversation earlier with Han. He knows exactly, you know, what the meta looks like. He's talking about the Lings, the Fannies, the Harleys, the Hiraras as well, and I think it comes down to that. So we're seeing much more of the enablers go into the XP lane as the jungle takes center stage as the carry, and I think that's why a lot of the teams that we saw get torn apart earlier today, they are more of the teams that rely on the XP to carry a lot as well, right? That's why when they had that swap, it was just a big curveball. Now, I think for both these junglers, they have the capability to be the main carry for their team and to be the hyper carry. Because a lot of times, when they lose out in the early game, you'd see the XP lane just completely sacrifice their lane and give it over to the jungle.
Dangerous grass picked up for a map, so that will help give a few more hiding spots here for these players.
Oh yeah.
As the guns are aimed.
You know, you mentioned guns. I hope we do get to see my Beatrix today. I know it's a crazy wish.
Okay.
It almost came out in the last one, but then the Brody was a better pick. But hopefully one of these 2 teams would grant me my wish. I mean, I've already seen enough of Kai after MWI, and I don't think we're going to see that anymore this time around. But let's see if it's still going to be in the equation. Speaking of the equation now, the Phobia's first ban means Yangon is either setting up for then the Valentina means they're setting up for either the Atlas or the Freya. So it's going to be up to the choice now of GK. The Arlott first phase ban is a head scratcher, though. I understand if your opponent has some strong picks you want to respect, but there are some moments where you gotta put your foot down and admit that might be too respectful of them to ban out the Arlott in the first phase red side.
Esmeralda banned as well. Normally, we've seen Fanny banned out in this first phase.
Yeah.
There's still one more.
I think it just goes to show that these 2 really want the assassins out. They're just opening everything up. There's Freya, Atlas, Ling, Fanny, Hirara, that they're both not gonna run out of picks and trades in the first phase. But GK at least took out the Freya already. that are not throwaway ban. Maybe it was a throwaway. Maybe it just wasn't just a pure respect. It's Atlas that ends up with Yangon Galacticos. Let's see if Eudora Hirara is going to be the response for GK.
Yep, it is instantly Hirara Eudora. So please, Han, right? I mean, M7, we didn't get to see Han on the Fanny. It was unfortunate because it wasn't the best pick for him back in the day, but he should be ready to redeem himself, right? After that interview as well.
Yeah.
But he may go back onto like the Lings, on the Harleys, right? Just because in the earlier interview that we heard from him, it was those two that he mentioned as a carry or as a counter towards the Hirara. Question is though, do you want to go and try to counter the Hirara with those two picks when the Eudora is sitting right there to help her out?
There's a lot of help for the hero. I think I've been won over by Uranus as a pickup getting shown in the first phase. They get the Fanny.
There's the Fanny.
And you compare it up with the Uranus XP? Nope, they get the Roman, they get the Gourd right away. I think they were worried that they'll lose mid pickups, but they have so many to choose from.
I'm actually quite a fan of this, right? You have that range advantage against the Eudora, and you already have an Atlas. Usually when you see the Atlas, it's already kind of a risk to take the Eudora. So GK are playing with that idea, and Yangon Galacticos just want to double down on the already good pick that they have against the Eudora with extra damage. So whenever the Eudora gets caught in the Fatal Links, it's insta-dead, insta-delete.
Yeah, so it seems like right now the Atlas and the Gourd together is just going to stop the Roman mid of GK. They end up picking up the Moskov and Fanny on the other side. It's better off that they pick it off now instead of it just getting banned away by the Yangon Galacticos. Usually when there's a Fanny on one side, second phase, no marksman for the opposing team, they'll ban out the Fanny. They'll ban out the Moskov.
Moskov grabbed by GK Esports, Mana representative. Fanny and Gourd, both been banned a lot and either not picked on the Gourd side, banned mostly on the Fanny side.
Hey!
How do you feel about this 3 so far for both teams? Mirko?
I really like Yangon Galacticos' first 3. It's weird because if you look at the prio list, the Hirara and the Eudora have been, you know, topping that chart. But Yangon Galacticos already have an answer. Again, with the Atlas going up against this Eudora, it's going to be a very vulnerable pick. Plus the Fanny in the mid lane. This Eudora and Hirara combination, if they fall early, and Yangon get a snowball, it's going to get really, really tough because now I'm thinking about roamers and XP laners. They can actually deal with this kind of damage, and I can't really come up with a lot of picks.
Yeah, part of it too is that the Hirara is amazing, and we've seen that put to great test today. However, it was either an amazing performance in gold or it was a strong XP performance that enabled the Hirara to be that successful. So if you're saying I don't see a lot of great XP laners against this matchup, maybe Yangon's kind of put GK into a tough spot.
Exactly.
I think this is where we double down and go back to the more damage-dealing EXP laners, the Lapus, the Yujongs of the world. Don't necessarily need to go for some extra sustain because with how squishy the first 3 picks of GK are, you know that anyone that can dive and easily access the backline will tear right through them. Alongside the Atlas, the Fanny's gonna swoop in. So theoretically, just getting an EXP laner with strong dive, strong damage, great crowd control, that should be able to sweep up GK's core, and it'll be up to GK to start packing up the stronger front lines to protect their backline.
Is that then also kind of playing into if they end up getting a couple picks on a diving EXP laner and the Gourd and the Fanny start to get out of control, does then that whole game plan go to waste? Because then he can't dive and get enough damage on to get the kills, or are you confident that that'll be okay?
It'll be okay. As long as you get that dive right in, then everyone can sweep up for one another. It just overload the damage, overload the aggro, which is what it seems like the method.
It's not a tempo thing, I guess, is the question. If it doesn't happen early, can it still happen late?
Oh yeah, definitely it can.
Now we're on this pick, Yangon Galacticos. It really seems like with the Alice and the Cho banned out, they really want to set up for those winning lanes again, right? They need the gold and XP to be in a winning matchup for them to enable the Fanny. The Bellerig gets picked up. Expected at this point with the Cho and the Atlas taken away. I think we might be seeing a Brody again just to believe the Moskov a bit more and to have that Fanny rotate into that strong side as they may be willing to give Turtle 1 over to GK. Knowing again, Atlas needs level 4 before he's activated. Same goes with Gourd.
Yeah.
And this is where we have to ask the question, right? What XP is safe enough to pick up blind? Because it really seems for GK, with the Bellerig pick and the Hirara now, they're going all in on strong side XP.
Yeah. And who knows, GK might even end up swapping that Bellerig out, but I am leaning more towards the idea, just plop it down in the roam, make it a little bit easier somewhat for your Eudora. You two will struggle, but that's fine. Oh, they still decide to play safe and get the Claude, so at least they have they have another option for main damage if ever the Gord and the Fanny don't work out. But that plays a little bit more later in the game. And there it is. They pick up the Barats. It's not exactly the Lapu or the Yuzhong, but as we've seen, it can pretty much do the same thing.
Yeah.
Not as mobile, but it is still equally annoying, especially since GK, their damage for the Barats comes a little bit later.
So GK now, they're setting up for the winning XP pick all this time. What is it going to be against this Dairoth with so much physical damage already? I don't think it's good to pick up the Dairoth. I think it's a bit too risky. CC as well, you can shred the Mirage, you can win out in lane.
I think I'll X
About it. Yeah, X-Borg against the Gord though, you know, your frog armor just gonna get melted down.
Yeah, it's too focused on the matchup if you're just thinking up against the Barats. Ooh, whoa.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Hylos.
Oh, is that gonna go EXP or Rome? It has to go EXP, right?
I think it is XP, but you know, we've seen both Belleric and Hylos in XP Rome. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be high-low.
Oh, let's see the swap. See,
No, I think he just swapped earlier. So Belleric XP for Aizen.
okay, so
There you go.
They still do end up committing the possibility of the Belleric going EXP and then Hylos and Rome. Interesting choices. I don't know. I just like the damage a little bit more from Yangon.
Agreed.
So Yangon may be getting the damage in. We'll see if they can keep the tempo and set up for a win. This one is set to be a good one. So let's get it over to our casters right away to kick off our first game of our final series of the day.
Our fourth series is going to be epic. We see the draft, the team fight composition opting to go for safer options rather than the high risk, high reward in the damage for the EXP. We're going to jump right into this because Yangon Galacticos are looking for a series win. And the same can be said about GK. Question is, which side is it really going to come from?
Well, Yangon definitely get a little bit of a power card here. The Fanny finally slips through. GK, on the other hand, pick this bulky front line, the Belleric, the Hylos, and then you do get the Moskov, which can do well against this Fanny. You do have answers to the trump card.
I feel like a lot of the answers is one-on-one, right? I do like the option that Aizen has access to this Belleric just so that he doesn't need to go over the Revitalize, what Shen is currently running right now in his emblem set. Now, he can just flicker into the action and try and catch people off guard rather than play defensively. He has offensive options. With 55 seconds left on the clock so far, the laning phase, and a lot of the motions that we're seeing from GK is actually centered around Zeno in the jungle.
And look at Yangon already looking for a play, checking out to see if anyone's down here. They make sure that Han is safe to go for this. And very running tightly. The mid lane, the mid trio, all sticking together, not exactly looking for off-map play on the side lanes, but at least making sure that Han's in a good position coming up for this turtle.
Again, it's just a lack of information, and GK don't mind it. They don't know that one of their camps just got stolen here, but really, do they need that camp at this stage of the game? Probably not. Han on the opposite side will have a slight EXP lead, but not enough to create the level lead necessary for the upcoming turtle. We'll see in a little bit, because Yangon Galacticos could just, you know, stretch out that first turtle a little bit longer than they usually do.
Looks like they are going to go for it instead. Han comes in, gets some nice damage on his Shen. Zeno deletes him. Deletes him.
We can't pretend that there's too many point-and-click stuns here. That should have been expected, but unfortunately wasn't able to get the cable out in time. Oh!
Looking for the stun from Blink here. Gets it. Nice magic gush, Zing, able to get the turtle. Aizen goes down as well. Han back on the map, looking for the re-engage. That's two members down, one from each side. YG gets the revenge.
What an interesting mechanic there. Haven't seen a Daytona's Welcome work like that, but this should be another kill onto Lord Shen's side, but it looks like he might be too tanky. Oh, so close. Able to get the regenerate just in time at the very end.
All right, so things have come back to a standstill. It's 1-1. Zeno continues to be aggressive, though. Ying does get the stun. Should be able to get away from this. Maybe he may be able to put some damage out of his own.
That was not going to happen. He's got too many stacks. He's got too many base stats to keep himself very healthy in these fights.
All right, so on the top side, still at a standstill as well. Oh, both teams just continue to go for it. Han tries to come in, but look at the Fatal Links. That's going to be a great grab. Shen will go down as well. The Magic Gush Fatal Links combo sprinkled on top with a little bit of Fanny. It's looking good right now.
It's looking real good, but at the same time, it's was that not foreseeable? The wave was getting shoved in, the flicker was fast coming up for Quinop, but as long as Han's able to react in time and throw out at least one of those cables, stun or not, he's going to get pulled through. Either ways, that was not exactly the greatest, but Yangon with a 2K lead on their sides. They're very happy with the way that this is actually starting to progress, but at the same time, EK, they're not completely out of this just yet. They just need to deal with the early aggression, and not to mention that we do finally see first item purchases from Han, so his first item power spike is here.
Another stun on to Shen there. In the mid side, YG want to try to take control here before this turtle comes up. Similar to what we saw last time. Last time, though, Han did catch that quick stun to the face and he got taken out. I think this time maybe it's a slightly slower approach. Both junglers going for their purple buffs. GK will be here first.
Map the Seas is going to be really, really important, especially on squishier targets. Han ideally wants to find his priority, and Blink is going to open up the map first, targeting towards Shen's side, allowing Ying to start fighting for this space. Again, the two frontliners for the side of Yangon, they don't mind dying here. As long as they can maintain the stacks onto Ying, he is going to be one thick boy, but Han ain't wasting time as well. They're making sure that he is still having some kind of camp, something to farm on the map, so he's not just stagnant.
Han has hit level 8 before Zeno. And will continue to farm. YG with no reason to rush this turtle right now. They've got a small lead. They can take their time, create space across the map and put the top side. Zeno. Oh my lord, Han comes in able to get the kill. Plays a duet defensively and now responsibly back to Zeno. Zeno just trying to get away. Han doesn't have any more energy to go for the fight. Zeno looks for the re-engage because he's walking into Blink. May not be able to get away from this one. They're going to try to close in. Zeno still dancing, finally goes down. Han's going to fall as well because Quinop comes in the nick of time.
Great timing, great timing. The fact is, Zeno understood one thing. Hey, I'm going to be dead no matter what. If I can get a trade, that's honestly not that bad, and they were still able to pull it off. The unfortunate part is the fact that Quinop always has to flicker to close that distance, and I think this is starting to become a little bit of a problem. Yes, he does have to pull yourself together, but at the same time, he's got no defensive tools to protect himself if Hans gets on top of him at this stage of the game. So he's got to be very careful with how he uses the stun.
Second turtle at 6 minutes in, finally going down. YG with the 2.5k gold lead at this point. GK is slowly falling behind. I mean, Zeno hasn't really been able to pop off. Yes, we've seen some deaths on Han, but he is making up for it with map control, with taking out members, making sure that Sanji gets a good start up in the gold side. The fact that we've now seen Yaga go down as well, the push on the top side is tremendous with a big magic gush onto Shen. Shen unable to get away, and even though it's the roam, every pick matters right now.
Yep, they're getting so many things for free. Sanji, he's not going to die here. I think now with the Blazing Duet, they're looking for a bigger fight.
Ooh, Blazing Duet onto Yaga. Yaga tries to dash through, gets on the other side of the wall, but Kunok still goes down. He came in to help and paid for his life. Yaga falls as well. YG just capitalizing every little mistake from GK right now.
Yeah, like everything just doesn't seem to be going in DK's favor, right? They tried to figure out ways to kind of edge out just little efficiencies here and there to try and minimize the damage being thrown at them. But now, Zeno getting the Sky Piercer, pretty good. But we need to see a full team wipe out here from the side of GK. That's how their composition is so strong. They got to fight as 5.
GK, can they bring it together? They are all grouped up in this mid side, so there's your fight as 5. Even if they have to lose a tower, it should be worth it. Quinop, though, getting zoned back. Shen drops Glorious Path. Ryzen's taken out by the Magic Gush. And YG continue just piece by piece dismantling GK.
Yep, at this stage with the lead that they have, YG understand one thing. Take away their front lines and they got nothing left. They just want to break this mid-tier 1 and they're going to force it.
Han dives in. Zeno looking to clear the waves, and he gets pulled in! 2 members taken out, Sanji to the backside with a Blazing Duet. Shen goes down, Quinop, who last to fall. There's no escape right now from YG.
Yangon Galacticos, they're making sure that they're going to repeat a process that we've already been seeing consistently throughout today. Give us a little bit of a lead, and we're going to run away with it. If you're not going to respond and play for only team fights, we're going to cut your front line down. No matter where you go, the paper cuts keep surmounting until it's like gushing wound. A wide open one as well, because this combination, they could see everything. Oh, you're going to back up, all right, you're going to flicker forward, no problem. Constant punishes from YG.
So now with the mid-tier 3 down in the mid side, Lord Foles as well. YG, I mean, they could try to go for a full inhibitor here at this point, especially if they take this tier 2 on the boss side, are able to push a cannon minion in to trip this holy defense. It's going to be huge for YG on this next push. The delayed Lord coming out of the next wave. They weren't able to get the holy defense, so that is one small bonus in all the doom with DK Esports, and down goes another one. Shen, oh my god, they jump in and both of them get pulled back. Aizen now will bite the bullet as well, as Han pops and Cutthroat places a duet on multiple members. Yaga, Quinov, Zeno, there's just no escape. DK Esports, they're getting dragged against the ground right now.
They're just making the wrong decisions here. Like, they see the opportunity, but they're not thinking a little bit about the position that they're currently in. The lack of awareness is starting to hurt them at this point, on top of the fact that they have just a huge economic lead for the side of Yangon Galacticos. They're going to siege them underneath inhibitors.
Yeah, they were able to pop that holy defense before, so now the Lord gets full, ample opportunity. Guys, does flicker back. Spirit Destruction comes through. No way he goes for it. Han will catch a stun to the face. They're going to move back on over to this purple, and then look for the re-engage, the stun, and in comes Shen to his death. A blazing duet from Sanji. And into the backside they go. A beautiful Tota's welcome. The tower falls, and YG want to try to end things here. They're going to lock on to the base, and Zeno can do nothing on his own. YG take game 1.
Oh my goodness, 9 minutes, 59 seconds. I'm praying that the end game screen is going to tell us it's the perfect 10 minutes. Because that's what they were going for. The Yangon Galacticos didn't have much resistance after getting the early lead, but their coordination is what sets them apart. Unfortunately for Geekay, they made too many bad choices in a composition that heavily depends on that team fight. You only get 1 or 2 of those, especially within the early to mid stages of the game.
9 minutes, 59 seconds.
No, 1 second off.
1 second off. A couple milliseconds off.
Man,
Maybe we can fudge it a little, just make it a little, maybe say 10 minutes.
yeah, maybe we'll talk to production about that. But in the meantime, that's got to be crushing. That's got to be confidence deflating for the side of Geekay. I'm not sure how they're going to recover from this, but they got to show that they're real competitors here. Yangon Galacticos, they're not absolutely perfect. There were mistakes, it's just they couldn't capitalize on it.
Yeah, YG, I think once they knew they could keep pushing in, I think they just felt it, right? Even though they made little mistakes here and there, they knew that they had the better of them in so many of those fights. And the reality is DK also made mistakes, but they were a lot larger, right? A lot of re-engages they should have never taken, just like that, right there in the mid lane. Jumping in there, knowing that there still is that fatal Lynx out there, knowing the possibility of what could happen. We saw another one here where Aizen comes back in, re-engages. Where are you going, my guy?
Where is the glorious pathway supposed to do? Do you think you're going to get out of there scot-free? No, absolutely not. Blink has played this game for too long to let roamers disrespect him like that and get on top of Sanji. We're going to be throwing it back on over to our studio. Break it down for this. This was a brutal one.
It certainly was. That trophy standing on the stage, ready to be claimed. One of those teams has made a very good argument for why it should be them. Early on, sub 10-minute win, almost the perfect 10-minute win against GK Esports. It was a dominant performance, to say the least, Mirko and Renmar. As we come back onto the desk, my name is Rainday, I'm your host, and that was a quick one. I mean, I just introduced myself 2 seconds ago because of how fast this game went. But again, it felt like this was a little bit more of what we saw earlier on in the beginning of the series today, because it was just too good from YG across the board.
It was fantastic by YG, but also it was pretty bad, honestly, for GK as well. I mean, all of the drafts we had our questions, we gave them the benefit of the doubt because we've seen crazy, a lot of wacky stuff today that worked out. Rafael Amir, again, shout out to Midnight, Paratin Handa. But again, the high-lows pick and the flex of the Belleric, that was very unnecessary. Again, it's kind of like the Eudora into the Atlas. The Hylos now into the Atlas. They're just trying, it almost seems like they're trying to feed as many bodies to the Atlas. Especially with the Gord already there, it's kind of like Kaiser's, okay, I'm gonna get the Sky Piercer early then.
Yeah, I think that was the key word there for even a lot of the actions that GK committed within the game itself. Unnecessary timings, unnecessary aggression. They were looking so hard for that concept and idea of, okay, we gotta trade something out, even though they were able to get an early first kill onto Han, but then that didn't really stop the game plan of Yangon Galacticos. Once you get to the major objectives, it's so easy for this Atlas and their Gore to do whatever they want to do over and over again, setting up for the Fanny. But even if you don't set up for the Fanny, if the Atlas and Gore just gets someone low or forces out battle spells, you've already done your job. And that isn't even putting the Barrets into consideration just yet. The meta, as we've seen so far from today and yesterday, has a Barrets problem that no one can answer.
The thing is about the Barrets problem as well, it wasn't even like the biggest thing in this game, which is crazy because, alright, yes, they were able to completely dictate the tempo and these neutral objective fights to the Barrats, but then you look at the other side of the map where Yangon Galacticos were very honest in their draft. They're like, alright, we're gonna go for the Claude because we want to play strong side XP. That's why they picked the Barrats. But the fact that the Claude won so hard in lane that it ultimately became two strong sides with no bully matchup. Again, in that matchup, it should actually be the Moscow who has a little bit more of a say. That's where the Hirara should go to, and that's why Xeno tried a lot of times to rotate up top. But in the end, it was Moscow getting solo under turret, already using Spear of Misery that gave Han such an easy time to pick and choose where he wants to go. He goes bot, free neutral objective. He goes top, free kill. And on top of the free kill, it was kind of like a buy one, get one because Xeno was trying his best to kind of like recover for the team by rotating top and trying to get a kill.
Yeah, unfortunately, you can also just sum it down to, it seems like Yaga got diffed really hard in lane by Sanji. Sanji, of course, with the experience that he had coming in from Falcon Esports and then now being able to play here for Yangon Galacticos, really, you saw the difference in experience and comfort playing around the gold lane, where I know Yaga has it in him, but Sanji just looked so much better in game number one.
Talk about Han, too. I mean, the Fanny has been banned most of the time, and you let it go. Han is known for that. And all of a sudden, it's like, well, that's why it should have been banned. 7-2 on that game, but also pressure, comfort. There's so many reasons why you may want to mix it up. What do you take as GK letting it through, and also just like this draft, how it's set up so well for an early start for YG?
For me, it's like, I guess we see early on why they actually let it go, right? Because they got the Eudora and the Hirara, the Urara combination, and it did pretty well at locking out the Fanny, but just as Redmar said, as the caster said, there was no capitalization, there was no conversion on top of that because of these losing lanes. The Barats doing a very good job in XP to hold around that first neutral objective that stopped that conversion, and also the winning lane up top. So I see why they let the Fanny go.
I understand. Yeah,
it didn't work out.
Yeah, and they even had the high loss with it, which over the long run though, the high loss realized, oh, I can't do much against this Atlas and Gord. I keep getting poked from afar. All this crowd control is forcing out my Revitalize way too early just when I want to use it. Oh man, I've already used it. That they brought me down so low. This was a really tough game also for Shen.
Yeah, that might be, is that a learning lesson? Possibly, we'll find out because that was picked obviously with the Atlas exposed as a first pick. So that was a final pick for GK Esports. Coming into this conversation around what we can do heading into this matchup, they knew it was going to be a tough game. Yangon Galacticos Esports were certainly ahead in terms of your pick. Well, let's see what they had to say coming into it, because we had a chance with Eterna to talk with GK Esports Quanok before the game.
We're now here with the mid laner of course, GK Esports. Welcome, Quanok.
Thank you, welcome.
How has Paris been treating you?
It's actually like awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What's your favorite thing about Paris so far?
I think buildings. I like the building style here.
Okay, so this is your first time in
yeah.
Paris?
Yeah.
Okay, but it's not your first time on the international scene.
No, it's like my third time.
But it looks like you're coming in with a new roster.
Yeah. Well, my roster is fully changed. I have a new roamer, jungler, EXP, and gold laner. So, yeah, 4 new teammates.
How has that been for you so far?
It was hard actually to change the full roster with me, but finally we managed to win the MPL MENA again, and it passed, you know.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
So how would you describe your new playstyle with your new teammates?
Actually, our playstyle is more aggressive, and we always prefer to team fight, you know.
Okay, so aggressive, team fight heavy.
Yeah.
We've been seeing that a lot, you know, coming into MSC, and I was wondering about what's going on with the mid laner right now. I think we saw Rafaela earlier on. Eudora has been very popular, and Vexana. So first off, what do you think about the Eudora pick that's been so popular?
About Eudora, I think like it's an S plus tier now. It's pick or ban, you know. It's so good against tanky junglers. It's so good against like assassin junglers. It has like continuous damage and burst damage, and can protect. It doesn't need like much protect, you know. So I think it's a great pick now.
Amazing pick for Eudora. What about the Vexana?
Vexana is like more like situational. You can't pick Vexana every game. You only pick it for disengage or like counter team fight. You can't pick it. I mean, it's not like flexible as much as Eudora.
Okay, so we can expect more Eudora, but maybe less from Vexana.
Yeah, of course.
What's your specialty?
My special pick?
Yeah.
Louis, but it's actually not meta now.
Do you think we can see your Louis today?
Possible scenario, yeah.
Okay, because you're up against Yangon Galacticos, and they're also known to be very aggressive. Is there any special preparation that you have up against them?
I think it's gonna be in the draft phase. We're like gonna ban some of their aggressive picks.
Ooh, okay. So
Yeah.
we'll keep an eye out for the drafts. Once again, thank you so much. Congratulations. Wait,
you.
congratulations for being here. No, congratulations. Good luck. That's
Thank
what
you
I meant,
very
guys.
much. Good luck too.
Thanks. Back to you guys.
Eterna, congratulations to you.
Congratulations.
For being so good at your job.
Good luck as well.
I gave a very nice compliment. I felt Eterna's been doing amazing with those interviews. That was a funny one and a funny way to end one, but also that's just what happens when you put yourself in a lot of interviews. I think she's won probably 99% of them. I think maybe Quanok won that one. Yes.
I think we deserve a graphic for the future broadcasts of like Eterna's win-loss record in interviews.
Yeah, she'd be in grand finals basically. I think,
sure.
Yeah, if that was the case.
Just remember, the worse you are at social interactions, she's a god at Mobile Legends.
Oh,
so good
man.
at games.
No. We can't get on her like that. You know, this was though a very fun kind of start for obviously if you were on the side of our winning team. But when it comes to GK and Quanok talking about just the meta, you can see that he has a very not simple, but like kind of common understanding, which everyone coming into this is. The Eudora is valuable.
Yes.
Playing around that though was not enough. And so that leads to the question, guys, what do you do at this point when the stuff that's clearly valuable, that's commonly known to work, isn't quite working?
You really have to look back at then what you're doing within the game itself. Like, how come you're failing with these picks that you yourself think of as S+? Your timing, when you're throwing out your abilities in certain little skirmishes, how you're even trading out abilities within the laning phase. Why the high loss popped up? Okay, maybe I'm not going to talk about the high loss too much. But
You have to, you do.
Yeah.
If you don't, I will.
It's a big talking point. I know it
They were
is.
talking about aggression, they were talking about aggressiveness. Yes, theoretically, Hylos is one of those heroes that could work out for constant potential invades, but then now you pick up the Hylos with a Eudora because you see the Fanny, it becomes more of a defensive pick. You don't really get to play their game. And I think that was, something that GK also got to feel in the previous games, that they didn't get to play their style. They were reacting a lot, and if ever there's a pick that they shouldn't let through, maybe you let the Arlot through and then you ban the Fanny, because they said they wanted to ban some of the best picks for Yangon Galacticos. I know we agreed that it looks like they had the idea to go up against the Fanny, but clearly it's not just about the picks anymore. The Fanny for Han is really good. Maybe it's one of those picks that you just have to ban straight up.
You know, this is one of those conversations that feels like it happens in 30 seconds because you need so much time to consider what exactly went wrong. There's so many ways to point the finger when you lose that quickly.
There you go.
And immediately you see the Atlas ban, you see the Fanny ban. This is what we're used to. It was strange in game one that didn't happen, but we also see Freya banned as well. I mean, this is much more, I think, Mirko, close to what you would like to see from GK.
Yeah, I think this is a standard approach to drafts, especially, in the current meta. You ban out the Fanny, ban out the Atlas as well. Now it opens up for that Eudora. We did hear from Quanok, it's first pick or ban. I think that should be the choice as well for GK. A lot of the other assassins open, Hirara, Link, so might as well pick up the Eudora first and then let Yangon Galacticos decide what other assassin they want to go for. Now, question is, will the Phobius also be banned out, or will YG try to punish GK with that Phobius?
Yeah,
There you go.
Focus up. They take out the Belleric instead. So it's a wealth of options here for GK that Yangon Galacticos, based on the math that we've seen so far and the priorities, they might just end up winning the trade for the first blue 1, red 1, 2 trade, and then GK will have to pull out something for blue 2, 3 to turn it around in their favor. I still think the Shadow of Uranus and Belleric is starting to really hang heavy in the drafts, but it's not the Eudora. They rush the Hirara instead.
So you think they're going to lose the Eudora here?
Yes.
Yeah, it should be
And
Eudora
that's-
+1.
What does that tell you, Mirko?
I mean, it tells me that GK are confident in their Hirara, I guess. I mean, they picked up Hirara both games, right? So,
Right.
the previous game as well. I'm guessing they think they'll have an answer for the Eudora anyway. Something can open up. Maybe a Cho early on as well could be the case, but
maybe.
it could be taken by Yangon Galacticos, man. They were the ones to ban out the Cho earlier after banning out after picking up the Atlas rather. So Eudora Cho, this guaranteeing mid prio, and then you pick up the Ling on red 3 would be a solid choice. But they go for the Ling Eudora instead to save for, I think, the Phobius red 3.
Yeah, could be. Honestly, GK just pull a page out of the book of everyone else, just pick up something like a Joe, and then
Yeah,
you pick
dude.
up a Barrett's.
Ooh, I like that.
Right? Joe Barrett's together. You get a little bit of a more priority in the center of the map. You rotate fast because your Barrett's are slower. Barrett's can safeguard that side of the map. But no, of course, not for Esmeralda.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad.
She's usually banned at this point.
That's true.
But you are a big Barrett's fan. And talk to me a little more while we wait for this pick, unless it really shocks us. Talk to me a little bit more for those just coming in and watching. Why you like Barrett's showing up more and more as we get into these days?
Yeah, because of the picks that we've seen for this metagame, there's not a lot that can actually give it problems early on. Well, although in the previous series we saw Ludwig go down twice early on with the Barretts, but it had to get so much resources from their opponents just so that they could take the Barretts down. Which is why I feel like it's so good, because with all those resources gone, with a lot of damage dealers in the metagame right now, with the Barretts down, you still can clap back and counter against opponents that took it. And GK are honest with it. They show up the Esmeralda and the Paquita already, so they know that they're going to be packing the EXP gold, favorable side lanes. You get the Paquita with gold, you get the Esmeralda at EXP.
Isn't that where they kind of had their biggest struggle, though? I mean, in gold and EXP, and I mean, Mirko was kind of waxing poetic on this. They just lost so hard in that, even if they had better matchups on mid and jungle, it wasn't able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, and that's why it feels like this is a confidence pick and confidence draft overall. But Yangon right away, answering with the Ruby, that is such a good pick. Because GK were so honest with it, Yangon Galacticos pick up a pick that punishes that honesty.
Yeah, I was literally about to say, the Ruby we did see earlier as well was a fantastic choice by Pro Esports to bully or to punish a full melee composition at the start of the game. And GK, they did exactly that. The Paquito, the Esmeralda, and the Hirara, all very honestly laid out for YG to counter. So they go straight up for that. They're going to have crazy combo as well. So let's just see how they build on it, right? Like, now, I feel like the Ruby, it's also a three-way flex at this point. They're not being too honest themselves. They have that question thrown out now to GK, and they're gonna have to keep GK wondering, because Rome works, Gold works, XP works, all the matchups against the picks of GK, it works.
Yeah, it will really make GK overthink, and now they start taking out the Paris of the world. I wouldn't be surprised if they even decide to take out something like the Uranus, but then you might need to consider banning out the Phobius, because that could still get slotted into Yangon Galacticos. Where though, that's a little bit more up in the air. You wouldn't want to pack it up against that Esmeralda, but maybe if Yangon are crazy enough, put it elsewhere, but I don't think they're going to be too crazy to do that.
4 of the game's heroes from the previous game are banned in this one, so we're seeing a full lineup swap. The stolen Eudora, I think, was more given away from GK Esports. Noticed that wasn't going to work unless we had stronger EXP and gold lanes. Mirko, what's next in your eyes? What are we looking at?
I'm thinking the Cho right now for YG again, just guarantee mid prio so that they can help the Ling get the buffs, because even though GK have the Ruby that can actually, beat out the Paquito and Esmeralda in these team fights, one thing that GK have basically confirmed is prio on both lanes. They can just cut the waves and then have the Hirara rotate over with these two guys over into the jungle to take away from Han. So YG, either they gotta start winning these lanes, by picking up these lane bullies, which are already banned out, again, the Barats and the Uranus, or they went out mid prio and cover Ling, cover Han straight up.
They need a really strong roam mid here that can set the tempo. They end up picking up the Cho, which is why I was suggesting maybe GK would want to pick up the Cho for them. We're good, but
Adding a unique hero.
finally, there's another one.
And the Selena.
They'll be able to farm mega fast if they're gonna double leash for their Hirara.
Brother, Melissa it up.
Yeah, Melissa's good.
Melissa the gold lane. That's my pick, baby.
Yeah, Melissa did pop up already yesterday, and I think for wildcards, if I'm not mistaken. We saw what's in MWI.
It was Vamos.
It was Ramos yesterday,
That
right?
goat.
Yeah. Only the Jawhead will be able to go through, but then you won't even be able to toss her. You're just gonna pop the damage with the unstoppable force, but you'll be knocked out of her dome immediately if you try to get the toss up on the Melissa.
Please, Melissa, please.
And with all of this dive, go away would be perfect right now. Unless they decide to play for range and pick up something like the Granger packet with a Piercer, but I would prefer Melissa. They get a click. Oh, this is such a tough click game though.
Yeah, that's a pretty risky choice.
Yeah, it's like you're choosing to say, I like this, please make it more difficult for me. I want to show off how good I am.
Well, maybe they are that good. You should have known, Mirko. Saying Melissa, they were going to do something else. Once you said it, it was not happening. You know how you know how it works. You said it yourself.
That's true. You know what? My bad, YG. Maybe I revealed their cards before that. They went for a different thing.
Clint, to follow through to finish out this lineup, it is almost an entirely new lineup from GK Esports trying to even the series against YG. Can they do it and send us to a game 3? We'll find out. We've got Gideon and Trex on the cast.
Thanks so much. Already here at match point for the Yangon Galacticos, and we've got quite a wild opportunity to see Selena and Jawhead within the same composition. We've seen many victims in ranked games getting absolutely demolished, but how quick they're able to kind of speed up. Wow, they're getting an ultra leash here. Like Zeno didn't need more help.
We need this purple buff. That is it. There will be no invades. We will secure it, and we will do something after. But for sure, it's happening.
It's crazy. It's a wild style of composition because for GK, if things start to go downhill, if they don't develop a lead, if the Yangon Galacticos are the ones who actually maintain at least the 2K lead, I think this game is sort of done for unless they can put some damage onto Sanji. But in the meantime, I like the fact that GK, they don't want to slow down. They're just going to play for that information and really work with the mid trio to get things moving across the map.
Yeah, and they take some really interesting pathing. I almost kind of worry about this Zeno. With such a lead that they had, getting that purple buff immediately, they could have used that to have him just start in his own jungle, but they go for the litho, they go into the mid, hope that there's a possible mess up, and now that quick pace that they wanted to set kind of just evens out in a sense.
And they don't mind that, right? They don't mind that. They're looking for lane punishes. I don't see them trying to contest for the very first turtle of this game, but I think, honestly, they need to put as much punishment onto Sanji as possible, right? Because as much as Yaga wants to one-shot him, it's hard to trade against somebody, especially at level 2, who can recoil backwards and also lock you down to get free damage on the trade. So, Yaga, unless there's a commitment to an all-in to force Sanji to flicker away, most of the time, you just have to kind of sit in that bush, just wait for your time, get a quick push, and then move away.
All right, Ying getting a little starved away. He's got to try to make his way in to get that card. Is able to get it, so everything back to normal on the bot side.
Oh my god, they got a permanent freeze on top side. Like, what is it? He can't walk up. Like, Yaga walks up, he's gonna get blasted every single time.
But, I mean, he can close the distance pretty quickly, and we are at least seeing him. But down to the turtle. Blink. Taking a little bit of damage by everybody. A beautiful I'm offended, pulling them all in. Tempest of Blades connects onto none. Bahan still finds a kill onto Shen. Now Aizen forced to run away. YG bring it all in on the first turtle.
Now that's exactly what you want to see, right? I would have imagined that they didn't want to do it, but Ying makes all the difference here. Flickering forward and catching all 4 of the members from the side of GK. Very nice of him to do so, because with this lead, they're going to push it even further. And that's the thing about Yangon Galacticos' composition, right? It is a little risky here and there, but it doesn't mean that GK missing out that first turtle is the end of the world. The real question is whether or not, oh, they get the blast down, and luckily for Aizen, he's able to tank the damage. No.
Oh. That's a passive, right?
Yeah.
The after effect.
Ooh, that is nasty. Nasty, nasty stuff. And I think this is going to be what the game is going to look like for a while.
Hopefully, I mean, it's already 5-0. I don't know how much longer it could go if it continues to look like that. It could be another very quick game if things follow this pacing. Shen on the bottom side just trying to defend the tower at this point as YG continues to advance forward. Look at Blink just constantly keeping tabs in their jungle, constantly pushing. And the thing is with a lineup like a Jawhead and a Selena, that's what they should be doing, right? Yeah. They should be the ones pushing in. Good amount of damage on a Ying there, but it's not going to be enough to take him down. Shen gonna fully commit. Completely misses. Ying. Oh, wait a second, I'm offended, he's okay!
What a surprise! What a surprise! Why are people trying to dive people like Ruby? There is just no point, especially if you don't land that first arrow, if you don't get the guaranteed CC, and now the punish.
A nice kick from Blink on a Zeno. Han moves in, Tempest of Blades, just trying to close the distance. Ooh, Han will get stunned up. Unable to get the kill on a Zeno, but wait, he dashes back and forward, back to safety. GK still unable to get a single kill on the board.
Unreal. He's still able to have the time, and honestly, just really good movement so far. Yaga, he can get this kill onto Blink, but is he willing to die for this? Is he willing to flicker? And he is!
Worth it, value, I would say, at this point, just get what you can.
Is Sanji gonna walk up? No, they're not gonna contest this. Yeah, they're already using the unstoppable force on towards Han side, making sure that he's kind of deep.
A nice throwback from Shen there. I'm offended, connects on Aizen though, and Shen unable to get away as Han close the distance on more members. Aizen falls. Kunok may just be next. Sanji able to get off the headshot. 3 members down inside of GK. Just when I was about to say, okay, they're getting some pace back. They get a turtle, they get a kill. This happens.
Every single time, and the worst part is that this has occurred. This is not like a new thing for the Yangon Galacticos. They did this in game number 1 as well, and they were also able to get the mid-tier 1, which is the most important structure on this map for the first 8 minutes of the game. Now, with a missing mid-tier 1, they get to walk into the jungle for free. Like it's, hey, tourism pass for everybody. Everybody's got a Malaysian passport.
I mean, and the fact that that's the first one that gets taken before any side lanes go down is even more of a statement here by YG. And with the composition that they have, with all of these strong frontliners like the Ruby, with Blink being able to dash through, having that just makes their composition work even more. Now they take out the tier 3 on the top side, and even more movement around where this next and last turtle's gonna come up.
Han's gonna take it in front of his face. Aizen just doesn't have enough damage for this. He's 3 levels down, and not to mention, at least for this Ling, Han is having the time of his life, uncontested, and for the majority of the abilities coming up for the side of GK, the burst damage is very target locked, so he just has to hold up his Blade of Tempest and dodge it.
Now you're gonna at least try to get a tower for himself, but it doesn't mean much at this point. I mean, at this point, you gotta regroup. It's a 3,000 gold lead. There is still plays that could be made, but they definitely need to stick together a bit more. We said it last game. Once they started falling behind, you have a composition that you want to sit around. Everyone needs to kind of work together, get those combos off. They don't have any big range with the marksman. They sacrifice that for the fighter off lanes. Turtle is up now. What can they do about it?
Initially, I thought maybe playing for the strong side in this Paquito, because he can hard shove this way, but now it's kind of 50-50, and here we go. Turtle contestation.
Shen, look for the engage, gets the ejector. Unable to get the throw onto Annie though. Turtle does go down, and so does Aizen. Ying now gonna move on. A beautiful flicker in from Yaga. Yaga able to get some nice shots off, but won't be able to get away from here. YG just collecting heads one by one.
There was a potential outplay angle for Yaga, but he did not want to lose out on his flicker for the next upcoming fight. And I think at this point, having the Selena is great because now you can watch Yangon Galacticos in first-person view steal away your camps and still not be able to do anything about it. This is rough. This is really, really rough. And I want to be positive for them, but at the same time, with the composition that they have, like, they don't have a lot of comeback mechanics unless those arrows hit. And even when those arrows hit, there's a pretty good chance, unless it hits Kaiser, unless it hits Sanji, everybody else has a response. Blink can block arrows. Ying, as we've seen 3 times already, has flickered I'm offended to catch multiple members. Like, if GK cannot punish that, they should not fight them during the neutral objective.
The Ruby just destroys everything that GK wants to bring here. Every little bit of dive, and if they do get past the Ruby, there's still a quick stun from, ooh, nice kick, does land down on Aizen. Still a quick stun from Kais. Still the quick second skill, small stun from Sanji. It's so hard to break through, and even if you're going for those targets, you have Han jumping onto you. So it's a tough match. Even if GK was able to kind of even things out here, it's just a hard match to fight.
They're living on a prayer. That's the truth of it. And even Yaga, right? He's in this 2v1 scenario, finally uses his flicker. You're up against Ling, he's gonna chase you down. Like, there's so many weird decisions happening in this game that has, honestly, I think game one has absolutely crushed that confidence. And after that first turtle, it's just PTSD. It's all happening all over again. Game one replaying in their minds.
YG gonna slowly continue to pick apart this map. Lord will be up in a few seconds. They've taken the tier 2 on the bottom side. They haven't lost this. Oh no, they lost their top tier 3, so a little something for GK. The arrows, I don't think I've seen a single arrow hit.
Some of them have hit. It's just, you know, it hit somebody like Blink. It's hit Ying a couple of times. Both of them just laugh at it. Again, no real
want you to come in.
Exactly, that's the problem. They're like signaling them, please, this is the airstrip, land the plane here.
I'm offended. Onto Aizen. On gets engaged. Yaga is there. Gets some nice damage, but Aizen still goes down. Unable to connect, and Yaga kicked back, taken out. Sanji will get that kill. They're just sharing them at this point. GK unable to do anything in the face of this team right now.
I think I figured it out. I think that GK haven't realized it's not the fact that they have this huge economic lead on the side of Yangon Galacticos. It's the fact that they're walking up as if there's people behind them, and Yangon is like, wait, we already have full vision. We know you're by yourself. And this keeps on happening. GK is trying to fake them out with their positioning, trying to fake them out as if like, yes, I'm a legitimate threat. The truth is, it's already been exposed. The satellite sees everything.
So what do GK do? I mean, I guess we pointed out they just continue to not do it. A little bit of a 1v1, the anime fight. Han wins once again. Shen, I mean, even Shen unable to really engage. Goes for Blink this time. Doesn't get the toss. A lot of damage on a Blink with Sanji, just free hitting from the backside, and I'm offended with the flicker. More damage lands on Aizen. Sanji getting aggressive, dashing in. Shen just trying to zone them away, just trying to defend the base. A Lord is coming soon though, and YG's not done yet.
At this point, it's not just living on a prayer, it's putting lipstick on a pear, and now they're looking for a little bit more. Todd finally to get the shutdown!
Finally, Yaga connects. No one was there to help him out. Ying wasn't there to slow him down, and GK Esports get another kill on the board. Shen with the toss.
Oh my
God. But everyone walks in. Nobody able to help out at all. Blink getting low. Sanji able to find Shen. Blink does finally drop. Yaga is finally picking up some kills on the board. All three, the only three of GK's kills are in the hands of Yaga.
And now there is some legitimate hope. They were able to get the right spells. The Yangon Galacticos, unfortunately, a little too over-eager. But look at this, right? He gets on top of Han, kills him, no problem, but here's the moment where Yaga wants to come in, and guess who saves the day? It's Blink, who blocks the shot to save Sanji's life here. Yaga was thinking about getting the empowered shot and flickering right on top of the correct targets, similarly to what his Jawhead did.
Oh my lord, Han is moving and grooving right now.
They're maintaining that distance, but since you brought up the question, I will answer. They're going to need somebody to bait the spells. The only problem is I don't think that the Yangon Galacticos, when the Unstoppable Force comes out of Shen, they're just going to wait until it's done, right?
Oh, Aizen down. Han able to get the kill. Blink looking for the next target. Ooh, beautiful flicker! Calling the dash preemptively, but Yaga to the backside. He flickers through. He wants Sanji. He's able to get Quinn up. Sanji goes down as well, and Yaga's picking him up. Lakai's finally gets the shutdown, and it's a full team wipe for YG.
Pretty good idea, but they could not collapse at the exact same time. There's just too many delays with the help of the Ying, covering so much space. He's 3-0-16. This Ruby pick has absolutely demolished their comp as they start knocking on the front door. GK, what are you gonna do about this? You need 6 seconds.
I don't think there's much GK can do. With the minions crashing through, YG does decide to back off. They're not going to force it. But the jungle's gone. There's no bust for the side of GK, and Lord is up. Does GK go for this? Honestly, they've been going for it nonstop, so I wouldn't put it past them to try to take this fight.
I honestly think they should do it again, right? Force this fight underneath by the Lord. They need to, GK are the ones who have to walk on over, and if Yangon don't do this fast, that top wave is going to build up to force the decision for them.
Dashes through, big kick on Quinnock. Quinnock goes down. Tempest of Blades falls onto Aizen. It's on the top side. Yaga gets pulled back in with the I'm offended. Kais gets the kill. The rest of Gike running for the hills.
Yep. And now they're going for the endgame. They don't even need the Lord at this point. They know what they need to do. And Sanji is just too strong. He can single-handedly do the siege.
It's a 4v5 right now, or a 3v5 right now. Aizen goes down. YG gonna move on to Shen here. Last minion drops. They do have to back off. They're unable to connect to the base.
I don't know how long they can do this for because it's coming to a point where we're getting to the 42k mark. Once we get to the 42k mark, we're expecting that Xeno alongside, well in this case, Yaga, would have hit their core items. I know for a fact that Yaga has his items, Xeno at the same time, but the rest of them, they just don't have enough stats, especially for Aizen, literally 2 items.
But I mean, in the end, right, Aizen, I think the big problem for Gike, where's the major damage? You have some physical damage. Quinnock was never able to come online, and even then, towards late game, the Selena is always going to start to fall off a bit, you know? And it wasn't able to get that value you would get out of it in the early to mid. And at this point, without a marksman, without any kind of range, and with just physical damage as your major damage dealers, even once the core items come in, where does Gike go with that?
The physicality of their damage isn't the problem. It's the fact that this Ruby has literally blocked them at every single angle. Like, Yaga wants to close the distance, but he can't because he's melee. So at this stage, it really is just whether or not Ying can get moved out of position.
Ying pulls Zeno back in. Zeno goes down. Aizen about to get hit by the Tempest of Blades as Han dashes onto the tower, gets the kill. Lord connects onto the base, a big kick onto Yaga, and that should be it. YG with one last empowered wave will move on to the base. They want to make things fast, they want to make things quick. YG take game number 2 and win the series.
Oh, the outclass here. The Young Galacticos take the game 2-0. They had an incredible answer to the draft so far. And honestly, I think that was the problem. Those first 3 picks was just too honest and no punishing ban on this Ruby. There were just too many problems to think of and they fell for it. I think this is one of those, go back to the pre-preparation room, relook at the priority list for your heroes for the types of compositions you want to develop.
Very well done by YG. Definitely some things that need to be looked at from DK Esports. They will have another chance to fight, but YG will move on to the next round up in this upper bracket and are that much closer to securing playoffs.
Yeah, man, that very first turtle could have been played so differently, so very differently, but Ying catching so many people there put that first nail in the coffin. And then when the invades come through, that's when it gets harder and harder to play. Like, Gike, it's not like Gike played it super terribly. They had a really good idea of what was necessary. However, they didn't check those boxes. You can't skip any of the steps with this style of composition. It must be step 1, 2, and 3, not 1, 4, and then back to 2.
That was definitely, I think, draft is the key issue. In game 1, we saw some mess ups in terms of gameplay. But by game 2, a lot of things just started to fall apart across the map.
and never look back. Not until that crimson stains you. A sweet whisper is all it takes to lure the meek lamb.
Stay by me. In the wind's powerful magic requires an even stronger will.
power will find themselves at my feet.
Buzz is music to my ears.
Stay by me, and the winch ballads of home always find their way to me on...
We've lost too much. This time.
You don't understand thirst. Not until that crimson. Not until that crisis